Hey everyone, are you ready for a topic that may be kind of unsettling?
Oh, yeah, this one is definitely unsettling.
Today on Technically You, we are going deep into the world of phone scams.
That's right.
Yeah, and we're not talking about those annoying robocalls.
Oh, no, not the common ones.
These are elaborate schemes costing people billions every year.
Yeah.
And honestly, the scariest part is
What's that?
that it can happen to anyone.
Oh, absolutely. Anyone can be a target. We think it's just, vulnerable people who fall for these.
The stereotype, right?
Yeah. But scammers are getting so sophisticated right now. They're using all these methods to play on our emotions, like fear, greed, anxiety, trust, and all that stuff.
It's like psychological warfare
It is.
before they even get to your bank account.
Exactly.
And some of the stories are terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
For example, I was reading about this man in Texas who lost $10,000
Oh, wow.
to a scammer pretending to be from the Social Security Administration.
Oh, it's classic.
Really?
Yeah. They play on people's anxieties about their benefits, their identity. They might say, your social security number has been suspended,
Oh, God.
or it's been compromised and you need to do this right now to fix it.
Darn.
It makes people panic.
It's so scary. Okay, let's get into some specific types of scams.
Chuck.
I was reading about this grandparent scam.
Oh, yeah, it happened to my grandparents.
Really? It just seems so cruel. Can you imagine thinking that your grandchild is in trouble
Oh, gosh.
and needs your help?
And that's exactly what makes this scam so effective. They prey on that. Like, scammers often research their targets online,
Oh, no.
like on social media and stuff. They learn about family relationships, travel plans, etc.
So they know who to target.
Exactly, and get this. They might even use voice cloning technology.
Wait, voice cloning?
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
It is.
So they could sound exactly like someone's grandchild.
Exactly. They can use software that can record to capture their voice from social media videos or by call them on their smartphones.
Oh my gosh.
That makes it even harder to tell if it's real or fake.
That is scary.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah,
So they're like weaponizing our love for our family against us.
exactly.
This is heavy stuff.
It is. It shows how scammers are always changing their methods.
So it's not enough to just know like a few common scams anymore. You really have to understand the psychology behind them
Do we?
and how to protect yourself.
Right.
Okay, so besides this grandparent scam and the Social Security impersonation that we talked about, what are some other like common traps that people fall into?
Well, tech support scams are still really big.
Really?
They prey on people who maybe aren't so tech savvy.
Okay.
They use scare tactics and all this confusing jargon to convince them that their computer's infected.
Oh God.
And then they trick them into giving them remote access,
I hope no.
which opens the door for data theft and financial fraud.
That's why I never answer calls from numbers I don't recognize.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's just not worth the risk. But what about those you've won the lottery calls? Are those still a thing?
Absolutely. Lottery and prize scams, they appeal to our desire for easy money.
Like who doesn't want to win the lottery?
Exactly. They often target older adults.
Really?
They promise these extravagant prizes or trips,
Right.
but you have to pay a small fee first, like a processing fee or taxes.
Oh, that is when I get suspicious.
And the way they present it,
Yeah.
it makes you feel like you've already won.
You're already a winner.
Exactly. So it's incredibly seductive.
Yeah, like they're dangling a carrot in front of you, knowing you'll bite.
Yep.
So how do we avoid getting hooked?
Well,
Like what are some of the warning signs?
all right. So one of the biggest red flags is high pressure tactics.
Okay.
So if someone is demanding immediate payment or threatening you with arrest or legal action,
Okay.
or they're refusing to answer your questions,
I'm following.
that's a huge warning sign.
So if they're trying to rush me
Yeah,
or make me feel scared, that's a bad sign.
exactly.
But don't legitimate organizations sometimes need information quickly?
Yeah, they do.
Like if there's fraudulent activity on my account.
That's a good point. But remember, legitimate organizations, they will never pressure you to make a decision on the spot or demand payment through unusual methods,
Like what?
like gift cards or wire transfers.
Right, those untraceable payment methods.
Exactly.
It's like a dead giveaway.
It is.
So it's all about being cautious
Yes,
and verifying everything independently.
absolutely.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
how can we actually verify information?
Well,
Like, what steps can we take to make sure we're not being tricked?
so if you get a call from someone claiming to be from a company or a government agency,
Okay?
hang up and call back using a verified phone number.
That makes sense.
Don't rely on the number they give you. Look up the organization's official website or use a trusted phone directory
Got it.
to find their contact information.
Okay.
Yeah,
Don't trust, verify.
exactly.
But what about caller ID?
What about it?
Can't we just rely on that?
Unfortunately, no.
Really?
Scammers can easily spoof caller ID information.
Oh, wow.
So it might look like they're calling from a legitimate organization,
Like my bank.
even your bank,
OMG.
or a government agency.
So we can't even trust what our phones are telling us?
Correct. I know it's tough.
It feels like we're constantly playing defense. So besides being cautious about incoming calls, are there any proactive steps that we can take to minimize our risk?
Absolutely. One simple step is to register your phone number with the National Do Not Call Registry.
Oh, yeah, I did that years ago.
You did?
I'm not sure it actually works.
It can help, especially with legitimate telemarketers. But remember, scammers often ignore the registry.
Yeah, of course.
But it's still important to register with them. And it is also important to be aware of those other red flags like unsolicited calls from unknown numbers, especially if they're pushing products or services you haven't requested.
And it feels like they're always one step ahead. But knowing these tactics feels empowering. It is like I have a better chance of spotting the tricks. What about technology? Are there any helpful apps or tools?
There are.
Oh, have them.
Oh, okay. There are tools that can help us fight back. There are some great call blocking apps, and a lot of smartphones have these features built in.
Ooh, that's good to know.
That can help filter out unwanted calls. You can block specific numbers,
Great.
area codes, even all calls from numbers that aren't in your contacts.
I've seen those, yeah, but isn't there a risk of blocking legitimate calls?
Yes, there is.
What if my doctor's office calls from a new number?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah,
There's always that balance between convenience and security.
right?
But a lot of the call blocking apps
Yeah,
let you create whitelists.
okay.
So you can make sure calls from important contacts get through.
So it's about finding that balance.
Exactly.
That works for you
Yeah,
because being overly cautious can also be a problem.
for sure.
What about those like quizzes and surveys on social media
Oh, those.
that ask for your personal information? Could that be a way for scammers?
Oh, absolutely. To get our phone numbers. So be super cautious about the info you share online, especially on social media. Scammers can use those quizzes and surveys that seem harmless to gather personal details and then use that for targeted attacks.
It's like those quizzes that tell you what kind of bread you are.
Funny, yeah, exactly.
Seems harmless,
True.
but you're giving up valuable data.
Yes, we are.
So we've talked about avoiding scams,
Right.
but what happens if, despite our best efforts, we actually fall victim?
Okay, you want to know what we should do if we fall for these scams? Well, if you think you've been scammed, it's crucial to act quickly.
Okay,
The first step is to contact your bank or credit card company immediately.
got it. Stop that money trail
Yeah,
ASAP. But what if the scammer already got away with the money?
even if the money's gone,
Yeah,
reporting the fraud is still important.
okay.
It helps create a record of the incident and could potentially help with investigations. After you contact your financial institution, file a report with the authorities, like the Federal Trade Commission or the Internet Crime Complaint Center.
So we're talking banks, credit card companies, government agencies. It sounds overwhelming.
It can feel that way,
Yeah,
but there are resources to help you.
okay.
Organizations like the FTC have detailed guides on their websites that walk you through the steps of reporting a scam and recovering from identity theft.
Okay, that's helpful to know.
Yeah,
But beyond the financial aspect, what about the emotional toll? Oh, yeah, like being scammed can be embarrassing and disheartening.
absolutely. Remember, scammers are master manipulators.
They are,
They prey on our emotions and vulnerabilities. It's not a reflection of your intelligence or your judgment.
right?
It's important to be kind to yourself and seek support from friends, family, church, or even a therapist if you need it.
So, this is a good reminder that we're all human
We are.
and anyone can fall victim to these sophisticated schemes. Yeah, as we always say, knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
The more we understand about these tactics, the better equipped we are to protect ourselves and those around us.
Exactly. And that brings me to a point that I think is crucial.
Sure. Okay, what is that?
Community awareness. We often focus on protecting ourselves as individuals, but talking about these scams with friends, family, especially those who might be more vulnerable,
Right.
like older adults or people who aren't as familiar with technology, can make a huge difference.
It's like a neighborhood watch. It is, but for the digital world.
Exactly.
You got to look out for each other.
We do.
Well, I think we covered a lot of ground today. That's so from the psychology behind these scams to specific tactics, red flags, and steps we can take to protect ourselves.
Absolutely.
And I think a key takeaway is that despite the prevalence of these scams, we're not powerless.
We are not.
By understanding the methods, staying informed, and being vigilant, we can significantly reduce our risk.
We can.
So, true knowledge is power, vigilance is key. And if something feels off, trust your gut.
Always trust your gut.
Thanks for joining us on this podcast.
It's been great.
Stay safe out there, and remember, we're all in this together.
We are.
All right, we'll catch you next time.